I do not wish for war, but if war must come, wait until I am ready. Saruman the Wise. Book 2, I don't remember which chapter, but war has come, and I just realised, rather fittingly, I wasn't the one that declared it, technically. I was attacked by Rohan, so that's interesting. I mean, if you want to be really technical about it, I did attack the Rohan scouts, but as far as I know, the reports of that never made it back to Rohan. Anyways, though, be it as it may, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next battle in Dawnless Days. Total War conversion mod, or Attilla Total War, rather. Conversion mod sets it firmly and squarely in the Lord of the Rings universe, the Third Age, and the War of the Ring. So, our forces are a little bit depleted here and we'll need to rest, but unfortunately we need to keep marching forward, take as many settlements from the enemy as possible before they have a chance to regroup and train more armies and strike back at us. So we sacrificed one of our generals to achieve truly a spectacular victory. But now we need to capitalize on that and we need to move forward. Now, the, I would say, main problem here, no need to use the... I don't actually need to move the Onager. Excuse me. Oh, right. Okay. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. Move everyone up. I need to do all of these battles manually. One, I mean, they are extremely cool, don't get me wrong. They are extremely, extremely cool. And so I don't feel particularly bad about doing them, because, I mean, look at all the units and, well, okay, the settlements are getting a bit old, because it's the same settlement sort of copied over, but regardless, I mean, the combat is cool, the units are cool, the balance, I think, has been struck really, really well, which I know is something that other Third Age conversion mods for different games have struggled with, and not just Total War games, but generally speaking, balancing issues are rather present, I want to say. But Isengard, I think, does a tremendous job of balancing quality and quantity and all of those things. But we will see. Maybe even a bit overpowered Isengard, but, you know, all of that we will see in the future, I suppose. The reload animations are a bit... well, I don't really see much happening. Let's see, are they... oh, no, they just take a while to aim, but yeah, the... oh, okay. Sorry. I need you to attack the other tower now. That is very cool. It would be a lot cooler if we could use fire ammunition on these. But thing is, I don't want to set the entire settlement ablaze, as counterintuitive as that might sound playing as Isengard. I want to keep it in at least somewhat of a reasonable condition and then repair it, because my economy is, well, just gone, basically. Mostly because of these Hill Wardens, but they are the best infantry unit we have currently, and... well, apart from the General's Bodyguard, but I don't really count that as an infantry unit. Everything else is a little bit weak. Balance-wise, like I said, I've played Bannerlord, I've played other mods that deal with this fantasy universe and stuff like that, and it's always kind of a struggle to balance things properly, because you want the forces of evil to be, well, menacing, to be powerful, but they also need to have a sort of strength through quantity rather than quality aspect to them. Aside from Isengard, which has the Urukai, which are just very, very strong, and you can make them, you know, even overpowered in a certain sense. But, like I said, in the Third Age Total War and Bannerlord and a bunch of these mods, in Warband, sorry, not Bannerlord. Bannerlord doesn't have the Third Age mod yet, or at least not that I'm aware of, not one that's far along at any rate. It's kind of a struggle, I mean, to really get things right in a certain sense. Understandably so. I've played as Mordor for about, I mean, I don't know, like 5 turns or so, really not a lot, but I've tested Mordor out a tiny bit in a few combat situations, and I've also tried them out as, can we hit those guys without moving? Not quite, we're going to have to move a little bit, but that's okay. Separate these guys as group 2 and move out. Okay, tell you what. I think it's time we outflank the enemy. And we start by doing this. Need to start locking in the enemy troops as much as possible. Okay, that's good. Forget about this tower. You're going to finish off that tower. You are going to go straight for the yeoman. Yeoman again, not yeoman. Sorry. But anyways, as I was saying before, one of the main issues... Never mind, turn around. Better target. One of the main issues is trying to balance all of this, because on the one hand they need to be evil and strong and they need to have the capability of winning, but the good guys need to have the quality as well. I mean, for example, the Gondorian infantry needs to be absolutely awesome, right? Because they are, in the books as well, they are extremely well trained, and in the movies you can see the type of equipment that they're using. Gondor is an extremely wealthy country, right? And it's strange sort of balancing that out, especially in a video game, which means, like, if you were to play a more lore-accurate Mordor, I would need to throw like 4 or 5 armies for every 1 Gondorian army that I fight. That's a bit of a problem because, 1, Total War isn't really made to work like that, and then 2, the second problem is it's not the most fun experience ever, because what ends up happening is I have to sacrifice droves and droves of units just to acquire a settlement, and it's not... it can be a bit frustrating to the player, right? And so what I think this game is doing is giving you huge units, right? I think that works really, really well. So instead of having 100 archers, I have 250. They're a bit weaker and all, but they are massive units, right? And then, especially in the case of Mordor, they lack any kind of elite infantry unit, which Isengard has. But their economy is really, really good, and they can produce units rather quickly. And they can produce good, they can produce lots of units, and the upkeep for those units is relatively low, so you can have multiple armies. And the way the game is set up is, I'm not sure how supply lines work in this game. Something I might want to look into a bit later. I have now lost all my cavalry because I'm kind of distracted and talking about something else. This was supposed to be a battle with as few casualties as possible, and well, suffice it to say, I'm not really doing that right now. Yeah. I could have played this a lot better, but at the same time, I kind of get the feeling that My cavalry almost let me down a little bit. I don't think they fought the mustered axemen much. It was mostly the archers that they fought, and still, it didn't really work out. Oh well.
Our men have regrouped.
Well, it's good that they've regrouped. We can now pull them back towards the Oninger. Oh, the Oningers let me down terribly as well. It still hasn't destroyed the thing over here. Oh, that is terrible. Alright. Well, whatever the case may be, where's the other cavalry unit? Did it retreat? Can't have died, right? I mean, even if it did, I'll recruit another one. They're not all that difficult to recruit, and unit experience is... Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's kind of important, but not really at this stage. Don't have that much of it for it to be important, is what I'm getting at. Okay, you guys go over here. You stay there to take over the place, and you go there as well.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
Which enemy units have rallied? Really? Okay. One thing that's a little bit annoying to me, though, is that the archers, I feel like, are very underpowered in this game. I'm not sure if that's on purpose, or if that's just a relic of this particular Total War game, but they seem very, very underwhelming. We can take a look at some of their kills. I mean, they fired a good chunk of their ammunition, right? 23, 67, 30. So between the three of them, they've managed to take out, like, not even an entire unit of some of the weakest armored and weakest, well, generally some of the weakest infantry that we're going to face. And that's just mustered either shieldmen or, sorry, either axemen or archers. Yeah. And I mean, generally the feeling I have from both... Okay, these guys are stuck over here, and, well, not stuck, but they don't have an angle to shoot the enemy at from over here. That's okay. I understand that, but what I mean is, like, from what I understand of the books and the... well, especially the movies, but, you know, forget them for a moment. What I understand from the books and stuff is that the archers are generally competent, right? I mean, the evil archers, be they Uruk-hai crossbowmen, which should be especially competent, but even the most humble orc archers from Mordor, they were surprisingly competent. Taking a look at the Siege of Osgiliath, for example, and the battle that raged there, they weren't absolutely useless, and that kind of makes sense if the orcs are corrupted elves. Elves are kind of notorious as being good archers, right? It would make sense for at least a fraction of those skills to carry over, and for them to be better than, you know, Rohan peasant archers. And it doesn't really seem to be the case. But again, like I said, the peasant archers from Rohan also aren't that great either, so they're kind of equal in that sense, but generally speaking, I'd sort of wish that archers were a bit better across the board. Perhaps not to the level of Warhammer 3 Total War, because ranged units there generally are very, very powerful, whether it's black powder or arrow or bolt, ranged units, whatever. They're a bit too powerful and sort of almost define engagements often. But at the same time, I don't know. Feel like we could be doing better. Alright, we're going to loot and occupy here. And why did I do that? Is a great question. Well, I don't need the watchtower. I do need the butchers, though. But I'd kind of prefer to repair this first and foremost, and then convert it.
The White Hand will not be stopped.
I also need to convert this. Yikes. I think my progress is going to be slightly slowed down here, if not entirely halted. Wonder... Wait, is that the garrison of Horn... That can't be the garrison of Hornburg, really? That's all they have as a garrison in Hornburg. Oh no, they're gonna lose, that's the problem. And I need them to win, I need the siege of Hornburg to be good and fun and accurate. But not really happening, I suppose. Maybe there is something scripted that I don't know of. Okay, send the spy over again. Did they... They lost? Yeah, they had to have lost, right? Yeah, absolutely, because the walls are and the yeah, it's a walled settlement. They would have to besiege it, and then they would have to build siege equipment to actually storm it. And then these guys are heavily damaged and depleted as well. So there was a battle at Hornburg, which my allies have thankfully lost. Now I say thankfully for a number of reasons. One, I'm glad that they lost it because, you know, we get the historically... I say historically, even though this is fiction, but you know what I mean. Like, we get the lore-accurate siege of Hornburg, which is excellent. But on the other hand, not just that, we also get to not have to worry about them taking over any of the Rohan settlements that they are nearby. Right, so the Dunlending tribe gets to stay on their side of the mountains, and they don't get a foothold in Rohan, which is good. Rohan's total strength rating has deteriorated down to 5, which makes me think they have another army lurking about somewhere over here. But that's okay. Right. My strength ranking is 12, although granted my army is extremely weakened. Okay, so here's the thing. I can take Grimsdale, and then I can probably sue for peace. Which is an interesting concept. The only problem I have with suing for peace is that my money situation is abysmal. That there is no other word to describe it other than completely and utterly abysmal. Yeah, thankfully though, Grimslade is not very well defended at all. However, I do need to fight this manually because I'm going to take way too many casualties if I don't. Might even lose whole units, specifically the tribal raiders. So I'm going to fight this off camera. We're just going to pretend I auto-resolved and that the auto-resolve system in Attilla is a little bit better than it is. Excuse me for but a moment. And voila, at the snap of a... click of a button, at the snap of a wrist... no, snap of a wrist? I didn't snap my wrist. What was it? At the snap of the... Snap of a finger, there we go, not the wrist. I did not break my wrist playing this. It's wrong expression. I got my expressions mixed up there. Anyways, we've conquered another village from Rohan, and that is good on paper, right? I mean,
taste man.
It's definitely good on paper. In reality, we've lost some more men.
Ready.
It's the garrison like at Edoras. These garrisons are not very large at all. I think I need to sign a peace treaty with Rohan now. Because I'm making 60 income per turn at the expense of 4,062. Need to take a look at my finances. Well, I could increase the... Yes, I could have thought I couldn't. I could increase the tax level. That is not going to get me out of trouble, though. So, how are my expenses rising so damn much? Is it my income that's so terrible? What's going on? So, taxes, interest, looting... Yeah, so last turn I made 1.5 thousand in taxes. This turn I'm making 1.4. Base income 2.5. Unit upkeep is exactly the same. Though. Is it corruption? How do I check that? It was in the chain of command, or is it... Where was it? Summary records, stats? No. I could see corruption somewhere, I just forget where. Trade and then... It's a bit weird that it isn't in the financial summary for the... faction. Right, it would have to be... Well, now I genuinely don't know. Okay, here's the thing. I have some nobles that I can promote. Like this guy. Trusted servant. Need someone to replace Ugluk, who is now deceased. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's a bit unusual to me that we've conquered 2 villages and gained a total of what, like, on paper 400, 500 extra gold per turn, and our income actually went down by a bit. But... what can I do? Okay, so office secured, we have a new trusted servant. This is the Oaken Shields. I think they just... No, they engaged these guys, but these guys retreated.
I will serve the
That's
forces of
fine.
darkness.
And then, not this turn, but next turn I will have a rebellion in Isengard. Tell you what, it's probably the low control that's hampering my income, isn't it? Here is where you see it. Yep, corruption 7%.
The white hand will not be stopped.
That's what I was talking about, like... There are situations where you conquer a settlement, you're supposed to gain income from it, and you end up losing income. Not because you need to repair all of this, that's already something that you're paying for anyway. You're losing income because you need to pay for some other nonsense. Okay, tell you what, Rohan, how about a peace treaty where you pay me, like... a large sum of money. They're willing to go to. They're willing to pay me 1.3k for the peace treaty. Thing is, I can't advance. That's the problem. And I know full well that if I give them the peace treaty, all they're gonna do is grow in strength once again, which is, you know, not the best. What do we have next? We have the Hunt for the One Ring mission chain. Okay, listen, we're gonna move this unit away from Grimsdale back to Fazeberg. And then Lurtz has also gained another rank. My oh my, he has some good traits, look at that. Nice. Okay, so let's give him another commander follower, I think, or a level 2 commander follower. Make sure he can move about a little bit more. And then, given the fact that I can't recruit anything here, I'm tempted to move him to Isengard. If you leave Fazeberg, how much does that change things? I don't want to do math. Hostile insurrection in 2 turns. For Isengard, it's hostile insurrection in 3 turns. If you stay there, 3 turns, 3 turns. Okay. So here's the plan. I need money desperately. Rohan, you are going to give me said money. You're going to give me 1.3 thousand. That is going to be a tiny bit of cash for me to play around with. Just enough to fill up this slot with something so it doesn't turn into slums, which I think still happens in this game, right? It should, at least. And then over here I'm going to need experimental layer, I think, right? Yeah. Although this wouldn't be bad either, but I'm going to need an experimental layer, and then over here I also need to build something. This takes priority though. Experimental layer.
We will taste man flesh. The white hand will not.
I think if I move you over to Isengard, your replenishment will be way better, won't it? Almost doubled, so technically correct. Alright, next turn. I don't know if I played this perfectly or not.
The white hand will not be stopped.
But I have definitely played it. We will see what happens now. So, influence and growth, construction costs go down. Or alternatively, I can go with something military related. I think we're going all the way down the civics branch to try and get as much out of this as possible. And I think influence and growth is going to be the next thing. Because our influence here is very low, and once I get control up, and once I get influence up in these places, that ought to solve a lot of my problems. So let's go next turn. I don't think I received an objective yet. For the mission, right? Saruman's search for the One Ring. Isengard has reached history of the One Ring tech, starting mission chain with this incident. A mission will soon be issued. Okay.
The white hand will not be stopped.
We are... Well, I wouldn't say we're ready for it, but...
We will taste man flesh.
Something is definitely happening. If I fortify, does that increase... Let's say, does that increase anything? It does not. Blood replenishment is what I need to increase first and foremost. Okay, this is fine there. They're getting up to strength again, and we can wait one more turn, deal with the insurrection in here. Have agents in the following regions deploy simultaneously at turn start. Dunland, Lothlorien, and Anduin's Vale. Okay. Slight problem with that, Chief. I can't do that in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I'm going to try and auto-resolve this. See how we do. Anything above 200 would be... Yeah, oh god, that is not good. It's 3 units you had to take care of. Okay, wards. Yeah, there was a champion unit too, but like... And then, completely paradoxically, it's at -30 because of conquest, despite having just rebelled. I get the feeling this is not how this is supposed to work. Also, control here is picking back up again. I suppose instability is dying down. Yeah, slight problem with the mission, Chief. I can't recruit any more, what do you call them? Agents. I can recruit one more. And then this is miles away. I guess with the Chief's camp I could do it, technically speaking. But... not anytime soon. And there's another hostile insurrection. One of your Orcs overseers in charge of armaments has raised a concern about keeping up with the demand for arming the ever-growing army. They don't have the means to work the furnaces night and day. What do you suggest? Gap of Rohan. This time, I think, because, well, we've conquered the Gap of Rohan, right? And we were already at war with the Rohirrim, so... we don't exactly stand to gain or lose much out of all of this. Okay, so I can get infiltration network going. That will provide more influence for me, which I definitely need.
Hunt them down. This way.
And then I love how they're still recruiting despite everything. Well, despite crossing in to another border. Are we gonna have to, are we gonna fight them together, are we? I don't recall this being a thing. I don't quite remember the Lord of the Rings books and movies playing out exactly like this. Some things I feel like are going a bit awry. Isengard joining forces with Rohan to fight Rohirrim rebels, definitely one of those things, but yeah, on the other hand, there is an explanation, right? I mean, it's not like this is entirely impossible and unforeseen. On the one hand, we do have influence over King Theoden. On the other hand, I'm gonna put these guys back here and let the horsemen fight among themselves for as much as I can. But as I was saying, like, on the one hand, we do have a lot of influence over Theoden King via Grima Wormtongue, and then on top of that, we signed a peace deal with them, right? And the peace deal with them is, we're not going to attack you anymore, we get to keep all the territories that we've taken, we're not at war anymore, these are the new borders, fine. If Theoden and, like, the ruling, shall we say, governing bodies of Rohan at the time agree to this, and all the, you know, major lords or whatever, if all of them agree to this, then what is exactly the problem with us joining to fight rebels together? Well, men would never fight against other men with the orcs, right? Yeah, but they're fighting to preserve a fragile peace that's, as far as they're concerned, the only thing stopping them from losing a bunch more territory. And these rebels have risen up in sort of, well, in defiance of that peace, I suppose, in many ways, right? They don't want peace with us, they want their homes back, and that's what they're fighting for. And so, as far as Rohan is concerned, if they support these rebels, we start up another war again and they start losing territory, so... See what I'm saying? This makes sense. To a certain degree. It does, I promise you. The only small issue I have is, what the hell do I do with my finances? Yeah. Also, where are my reinforcements? Let's extend the minimap, that'll be good for the future. I mean, I am willing to wait for my reinforcements. What about you? You know what? You can go look for them. See if they may have arrived from the other side or something. Ladies and gentlemen, I am betrayed by Rohan. Okay, never mind. You know what? I'm gonna eat my words out. Nothing of what I just predicted happened. They just didn't send their troops here. Look at that. Thought maybe like I didn't have a visual on them because, you know, they're on the other side or whatever and so on and so forth, but no. Why do they have two warlord champions? That's the most concerning thing here, honestly. Is that they have not one, but two warlord champion units. Thankfully, I'm able to keep one of them busy, while I engage the other one with the full might of Isengard's army, which is, to be brutally honest with you, not much at this stage. We really are struggling, there's no two ways about it.
The enemy refuses to admit defeat. Their unit has rallied.
Alright, that's okay if they've rallied. Oh, they have tribal spearmen coming up from the flank. I guess they were searching for me. The woods and stuff. Look at this, I'm almost out of ammunition. I'm done. surprisingly little to the enemy. Okay, don't get caught off. Don't get caught off, please. Thank you. The general is dead. That's good. We could, yeah, we should really fight this champion unit that's been sort of running in place, if we're honest, for the majority of the battle. Yeah, listen, you two are not fighting anyone. You're going to be completely useless. These two can actually do some damage. Lurt's lost so many of his bodyguards, it's basically impossible, right? I don't see how he could have lost so many. In the auto-resolve battle, that is. Okay, so we've engaged them over here, we've engaged them over here. Stop firing with the honor, just stop it. Okay, you can finish them off. Sorry. Alright, my apologies, just had someone at the door. Let's resume this. So, you can chase them down, I already gave that order, they're retreating. Alright, we're pretty much done. I mean, I think we are at least. Right? Oh yeah, there's the end battle screen right there, I just didn't realise, because, again, got distracted, sorry. Okay, 62 losses to eliminate the whole warband of rebels. Excellent. And I haven't killed them all. Okay, but we will loot the battlefield, definitely. And this is actually not a bad thing, because we get to fight them again. Sorry, yeah, don't do night attack. Let's do protective strategy, hopefully that works out. Tiny bit better, yeah, 9 losses, okay. And then we can reorganize, we can loot the enemy. I mean, that's another turn worth of upkeep for me, so yeah, loot them please. And then someone explained to me why my income went down again. I don't think this is working the way it's supposed to, because my income keeps going down. Maintenance for buildings. Buildings cost maintenance. And it's not a small difference either, it's like 400 worth. So, I've lost what? I've lost this, and I've lost this. That was 150, that was control and whatever. I haven't lost anything else. I love how this place is still rebellious despite everything. Hostile raiding, food, non-faction influence, devastation. Okay, listen, this is a good place to end the episode. I'm gonna look into this, because I don't think this is how it's supposed to go. But, well, we will see, definitely, we will see. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Please do remember to like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned with the rest of the series and the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.